So you're happy with the team in place?
I absolutely am.
Let me ask you this, because you're right there in the middle of things in California, San Francisco, and this idea that California pushes back on federal law, blows off the federal law, and is a sanctuary and wants to be sanctuary. What's your take on this? How tough is it being in California and seeing them push back against the president's policies?
Well, the result will be many penalties, many of the monies that come from the federal government for different services, that'll come to an end. I don't know what they're thinking about. It's like shooting yourself in the foot all the time. Why would you do that? There are certain monies that come back for the homeless, for instance, or for other activities, fire prevention, and all the big fires that we've had there. They're putting themselves at jeopardy in terms of federal assistance. So many things. I don't know what's happening. And finally, where's the populace here in America, in California? It's pretty sad right now, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Oakland mayor basically telling the illegals they're coming for you. That was troubling.
It tells me there are many, the U-Hauls cost 10 times as much to get a U-Haul to leave as to come into California. It's very, very... A lot of U-Hauls are going out of California right now.
I bet, yeah, and that's probably going to pick up.
I think
so. What's your take on the tariffs? The president has said that he's willing to make exemptions on these tariffs on steel and aluminum, but he's faced a real pushback in terms of getting too nationalistic, too protectionist. Your take on the impact of all of these tariff plans going to have on what you say is great economic policies and growth?
Well, my view is that there is really no free trade as such. Every country, and particularly people like China, like Russia, like Japan, all have protective different kinds of tariffs. I have been involved as a personal investor in a number of things. Solar cells, one for instance. The Chinese government wanted to own a big percentage of that thing. They just crushed the pricing. And they can do it. They have control over different things that allow them to do that in their country. I think in terms of steel, you know, China makes 10 times more steel than we do. We have to have steel for strategic reasons, for sure, and to be 100% dependent eventually on China for our steel. I think it's crazy. I think we have to get some balance there.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely correct the way he's moving on that thing.
And even though it's not a direct seller of steel, they put overcapacity in the market.
They sell it to Mexico. It comes up through cars. They sell it to Canada. Different ways that we get the Chinese steel back here. But I think what Trump is doing, and I think it's the right thing to do, we've got to have some negotiating positions on these things. Otherwise, we're sort of naked.
Right.
So what he's doing is setting something up like the tariff on steel. Okay, we'll negotiate a little bit, maybe here on NAFTA. Maybe we'll negotiate there. But if you have nothing to sort of give, and we gave it all, as we did over the last 50 years, we gave favored nation stuff to so many countries because we wanted to help them after World War II and after the Korean War, et cetera. And so today, I think Trump is correct. We want to make America great again. We want to be competitive. We want to sort of stop the giveaways and start working for ourselves. As you can see why in our economy, so many people are unemployed and not making as much money as they should be doing so. And so he wants to make that change happen.
And a lot of people are wondering if this is about China, your experience with China. Talk to us about that, because I know that if you want to open business in China and you want to sell to the 1.3 billion person population, you better give up some secrets, and you can't do it by owning it. You have to own 49% of a joint venture.
We've been in Hong Kong for over 20 years, Schwab office. I have gone to the federal government of China several times. We've tried to get into China ourselves, into mainland China. So we're in Hong Kong, which is really not China yet. And we have been unsuccessful in getting a little office in China. They're just, the regulatory thing, they won't permit us to do it at this point in time.
So there you go.
But yeah, they could come here, they could buy our company, they could buy Citicorp, whatever they want to do, they can do. So there's not a fair balance between the two countries.
Right. So that's why this is more about China, about NAFTA, than anything else. It's an overall strategy. Chuck, let me ask you about Schwab and how things are going. You've been investing in new services, in new products. You've been a big investor in technology.
Totally.
What's the goal?
Well, the goal is obviously, it's always the same thing, is to make a great experience for our customers. That's what we want to do. And thank goodness we've been seeing the results of that. We've never seen such a huge influx of new customers. And I have to say, particularly over half of them are people that are under 35. It's really, really happy for me to see the younger people now participating in the market. They're beginning to think about investing for the long term, whether they have needs for a house later on or children's schooling, et cetera. That kids are now beginning to think, boy, what shall I do for myself personally?
Yeah.
That's really gratifying.
So what do you think the growth story is at Schwab? Where does growth come from? Look out the next 5 years.
Well, the tax bill is one massive incentive that this country will grow at probably 2.5, from 2.5 going to 3, 3.5 probably. I think we're really in for a four number.
This year.
And maybe not this year, but I think certainly next year.
Next couple of years.
I mean, the momentum going on, the influx of money coming back, repatriation of all that money is just beginning in that possible, in that movement, as well as the investment, like firms like us, we have now, because of the tax bill, we have our profits are substantially higher than they were last year because of paying fewer taxes. So what has happened fundamentally is that all this money has been moving to the private sector. And you know what the private sector does. It sort of has the it's the engine of growth.
Of course.
Government is not the engine of growth, it's private sector. So we have all this new influx of money to the private sector, and you're just hang on to your hat.
Chuck, let me ask you about hanging on to my hats in this volatility.
Yeah.
What have you seen from your clients during these days where we're seeing 1,000-point sell-offs? And what are you expecting in terms of volatility?
I think volatility is a natural part of the market. It's always been there. I've lived through so many different ups and downs, but just like Warren Buffett says, hang on to your stock, because it always, 10 years later, it's always going to be a whole lot more than it was 10 years ago. It's just the natural thing. And growth is always never a perfect smooth thing, but it's up a little bit this year, maybe a little bit down next year, up a bit next year. But you have to be willing to live with these volatility or vicissitudes. And it's the natural thing of the market.
So you don't think the backdrop has changed any?
No, not whatsoever. And as the number gets bigger, as the Dow gets 25,000, the numbers get sort of much bigger. And so when you have an absolute number, it's not as bad as it, but it's only a 1% move. That's okay.
Yeah.
25 years ago, it used to be the Dow was 600. A 6-point move would be 1%. Today, it's, a lot more.
So let's not get afraid of the volatility.
Yeah,
and real quick, the options for investors today, I mean, you've got everything from mutual funds to ETFs to index funds and beyond.
We got everything. But the most important thing, we think, is trying to help people understand what they're doing, because we don't have the proper education in our schools today, letting kids know what they need to do for financial freedoms, for themselves, for how they can put money aside for their future opportunities that they have. We don't learn that in school anymore, and so that's really a difficult thing. So it's our role as a company to help young people or anyone to understand what is investing, what it's about, what's the best path to get there with.
Chuck, it's great to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. Chuck Schwab is the chairman and founder of the Charles Schwab Corporation.